Hey, everybody, and welcome to my latest live stream. I am not the beautiful Wanda Maximoff. I am, in fact, Jessica Dwyer, but I love this avatar and I am using it because we're going to talk WandaVision and the series that has managed to split the Marvel fandom. Which I am amazed by, but I understand because I had quite a few theories. I had quite a few ideas on how this show was going to go. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and I was wrong. And so were a lot of other people who have a lot of anger about the fact that they were misled or had a theory that didn't turn out the way they thought was going to happen. But be that as it may, I am here to give you my thoughts on the series and what happened. So, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers. And I don't feel bad about that now because the show aired at midnight on Thursday night / Friday. So if you haven't heard or seen now, and the fact that Yahoo kind of ruined everything for everybody by posting information on their webpage, sorry, leave now if you don't want to be spoiled. So WandaVision was probably one of the most witty, beautifully shot TV series that I have seen in a very long time. It was just absolutely stunning. I loved how they utilized the film production to really capture and look like the period pieces that they were representing, like the Honeymooners, the Dick Van Dyke Show, I Love Lucy, and then moving on to Family Ties and the Brady Bunch, and just gorgeous cinematography in this, and then how the aspect ratio would change when they would go into modern times. It just was such a neat way they did it, and it was just entertaining. Paul Bettany needs to do way more comedy. Elizabeth Olsen was just fantastic. Catherine Hahn is just amazing. It was just such a great show. And the thing that is getting lost in the shuffle, I think, with the people being pissed off that this didn't turn out the way they thought. There was no Reed Richards. There was no X-Men, which I'll get into in a minute. But this series managed to do a couple of things, introduce us and bridge into what will end up being the plot for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. And it did a lot of setup for a lot of other characters. But at its core, what WandaVision was, and it kind of cemented itself with that beautiful line about what is grief but love persevering, which still gets me, and I really want to have tattooed on my arm as a reminder someday when COVID's gone. But what this show was about love and grief. And I think everybody's kind of losing that in the shuffle. And it just was so beautifully done. And there's so many levels to what they used to represent in the show. One thing that I really loved was the spirituality of it, which I know a lot of people probably are like, oh, whatever about that, and thinking you're just being pompous, but it's true. The one thing that I really liked and I took away from it was the kind of flip of Adam and Eve that they did with Wanda and Vision. And maybe I'm reading more into it than they meant, which it kind of fits the whole people thinking there were theories that never panned out. But how Wanda brought Vision back using herself and using a part of herself really hit home with me in terms of Adam and Eve and how Eve was created from a piece of Adam. Here you have Vision created by a piece of Wanda, and he is created from her love, her loss, her will, all of these different aspects. And that was just a beautiful scene when he asks her, "What am I?" I had this whole thing about, oh, she plucked him out of the multiverse, and he's a different Vision. But I'm okay with this answer because it's so beautiful and so well done in terms of how she made him and what he came from, and the fact that you see that he is built from the energy of the Mind Stone, but also Wanda, and how she kept him alive, and the metaphor there, not only of the whole, piece of a rib creating, or a piece of the person creating the person that they love, but also just the way that we keep the people we love alive with our own will and with our own, emotions. We keep them alive that way. And WandaVision just made that flesh and bone and circuitry, I guess, if you will. And that was just beautiful. And Vision's line really encapsulates that. There's also the spirituality and that is represented with Vision facing himself, and White Vision, which is, I guess, what he's called. He's in the comics and they call him White Vision. But how he comes back from the dead, and he's kind of a blank slate, and Vision, who is I honestly thought, and this is another one of those theories, that these two were going to merge into one, and they kind of did, because you had Vision, who was built from the memories and pieces of emotion and what Wanda kept alive, and you had the physical form of him, and he asks what he is, and basically the soul of Vision, which is what Wanda brought back, physical form of him, who he is. And that was a great scene, and the whole metaphysical aspects of it, and the theory and the discussion between the two of them was a really great scene. And Paul Bettany is amazing in that scene. And God, man, I can only imagine the makeup job that happened there. At least he doesn't have multiple colors, but still, it just was a beautifully done ending for the show, and heart-wrenching, but at the same time, that's kind of what the point was her letting go of that. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was beautifully done. Now, yes, do I feel let down that there was a missed opportunity here? They could still have done that with the show. They could have still done this beautiful metaphor for grief and release and loss and going on with your life. They could have still done all of that. And at the same time, they could have still introduced the X-Men into the show using the real Quicksilver, instead of having him be Ralph Boner, which that kind of was like, I don't know if I feel like that was an FU to Marvel fans or not, that, or all the theorists online, like, he's Boner. But what I think may have happened here, and this is just me, just saying what I'm kind of taking from some of the interviews and things that I have read, is that the guys in charge of the show, the series runners, the directors, the writers, I think what may have happened is they'd already made the show at this point. And when the theories started hitting, I think there was a couple of things could have happened. One is they may not have realized what people were expecting and what they the idea of using this show as a bridge to bring in these properties from Fox. I think they realized, oh, we've really underwhelmed ourselves, like we trying to think of the best word to describe it, but we've really undersold what we could have done with the show. Because this, people like me, we live for this. This is our kind of our crack. We love thinking into what may be happening, with shows like this, like what's going to come next. What does this mean? You're talking to a girl who spent an hour and a half with her husband going over scene by scene, rewatching the Star Trek Into Darkness trailer that they released way back when we didn't know who Benedict Cumberbatch was playing, and then trying to glean from that minute and a half trailer what the entire movie was going to be about. And we were pretty close. But that's something that is going on now. And with COVID, we really don't have anything else to talk about or do other than stay in and geek out and think about what could be going on here. And WandaVision was the newest, the thing that we needed. We didn't have anything else. We didn't have any big blockbuster movie. We didn't get Black Widow, and it's still not coming. And they still don't have any plans of releasing that on DisneyPlus Premium or anything yet. So we're stuck with nothing but WandaVision. And we loved it, and we ate it up like crack candy. And I think what happened was when the guys in charge in the show saw what was happening and saw this rampant discussion and people picking it apart, they realized, oh crap, we didn't plan for any of that. We wanted to talk about a specific story and maybe have a couple peripheral characters come in, but we didn't think about doing any of this. And on top of that, you had some really great fan theories happen. You had theories that were about, like I had talked about previously, which was, multiverse. She's got the power to pluck into the multiverse. Mephisto was going to be in charge, and he was going to try and figure out how to use her powers. And then you had the theory that it was an alternate vision, and that Reed Richards was the scientist that Monica Rambeau was talking to, and you're going to bring in the Fantastic Four that way, and John Krasinski was going to show up as Reed Richards, and then you'd introduce that, and then you'd introduce Evan Peters as the alternate Quicksilver, so you'd be able to pop in the X-Men. But instead, it was basically admitted stunt casting, and they didn't go anywhere with that. So we just basically had Evan Peters show up just for shits and giggles, and it went really nowhere. And I think that when the Marvel and the show creators and everyone saw these theories, I think they realized, oh, these are actually better ideas than we thought of. Oops. And you had Paul Bettany, talking about this. He felt really bad because he had made this joke about geeking out and saying that he was working with someone he always wanted to work with, and it was himself. And we all grasped a hold of that, thinking it was going to be Ian McKellen showing up, or maybe Patrick Stewart. But No, they didn't go that route. And I get the anger about that because it's such a missed opportunity that they could have done here. They could have really used this as a really cool moment to bring in the Fox properties, and they could have brought in the X-Men in this show, even for 2 seconds. You had a great opportunity by having Evan Peters in there. But no, they didn't go that route. And that sucks. But at the end of the day, this show was beautiful, and it was smart. It was funny. It was entertaining. And if Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, especially Paul Bettany, because man, you have to emote through that makeup, and that's just the face and the whole thing, and deliver these lines and grab, and be funny and channel in these different character time frames. Like, you have to channel in being Dick Van Dyke while Dick Van Dyke coaches you, which they actually had happen, coaches you on how to do this this slapsticky comedy. And it was perfect. And Elizabeth Olsen just, she could turn, you had to be able to fake it. Like, you had to have that fake 50 smile, and then you progress to being this broken, tortured woman who has lost everything, literally everything. She's lost everybody she's ever loved, and she sold that. And you have to be able to really capture her power as well. And Catherine Hahn was just fantastic as Agnes. I mean, it was, or Agatha, depending on how you want to call her, but just really amazing casting. Everybody in the show knew what what it was supposed to be, and recreating these different time frames, and it just was so well done. And I can't stress enough how beautiful it was, how they recreated the sets, they recreated the look, the sound, the little commercial bits that they did. It was just great. It really was one of the best shows I've seen in a very long time. And that really is a testament to the 2 leads, because you cared about them. And these are characters that they weren't really the focus of anything. And I mean, everybody talks about Captain America, everybody talks about Iron Man, but Wanda and Vision were kind of secondary characters, really, in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this showed their importance, but it also gave these 2 characters a backstory they really, really needed, and was fantastic how they worked in elements from all the comics into this. So at the end of the day, again, I know a lot of people are pissed off. I know a lot of people are disappointed about not having the payoff of the X-Men showing up, of Fantastic Four being there. And yeah, it is a missed opportunity. They really did miss being able to utilize this, and the fact that enough people were watching it that we broke DisneyPlus. But at the same time, it would have been, at the same time, this show really captured the beauty of grief, if that's a good description. And the phrase just resonated across the internet, and especially now in this time where so many people lost so much. it was cathartic. And that the line, what is grief but love persevering, is really important right now for a lot of people. And it's a good, beautiful way of encapsulating it. So that's my take on WandaVision. I get why a lot of people are angry, but at the same time, the show had a specific mission and core story, and that is how Wanda comes out of her loss and her grief and is reborn and powerful, and Vision is still there. And I really loved it. I loved it a lot. Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to have some big shoes to fill. Also, Falcon and Winter Soldier don't have as many episodes as WandaVision. They only have 6, if my calculations are correct and what I read was correct. Which that starts this month, I believe, on the 18th. And then the next series will be Loki, which starts in June. I don't know for sure how many episodes that series is going to have. I think that's going to really build into the multiverse, plot, which is going to, of course, be in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. But I am excited to see what Marvel has next in this. The big news, of course, is that broke today that I heard was that Marvel Studios are moving to Sydney, Australia to film, because Australia and New Zealand both kind of have COVID under control way better than America does. So, but they are heading to Sydney to start filming. And because I think, they need to get going. They have a slate of films that they need to start working on, and they're going to be there for 5 years. They're going to be working there for 5 years. And I am anxious to see what they do, because at this point, like I said, and I'm sorry that didn't break today, but it was the first I'd heard about it. Like I said, we still don't have Black Widow, and they're just holding on to that movie. And I know it's like, guys, just release Black Widow, give it to us. I don't understand the holding onto of that, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the plot points in there, kind of threading through the rest of the films. But again, Black Widow, she's dead unless there's some sort of multiverse thing that's going to happen. But we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed WandaVision. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And I can't wait to see Falcon and Winter Soldier when it comes on, because those two guys are going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time, and I cannot really vocalize the extent of my love for Loki and waiting to see that. So again, thank you guys for listening and watching. Feel free to, hey, I have three more viewers. Hi guys. Feel free to say hi in the chat. If you want to hear more about Marvel TV shows, and if you want to hear more about Marvel films or more insights, feel free to let us know in the chat below, or where below. I think it's on the left or right. I don't know. But again, WandaVision, I think, should get all the Emmys. And I really, really loved it. I thought it was beautifully done. Missed opportunity, yes, but fantastic show. Paul Bettany is just a very underrated actor who needs to do more things in comedy. He was freaking hilarious in this. So yeah, Thank you guys. You want to see some really great Paul Bettany? Go watch A Knight's Tale. It is an amazing movie, and he's completely naked for the first time you see him in it, which is odd. But also Alan Tudyk and also Heath Ledger. Fantastic movie. Rufus Sewell is the bad guy, and you should check that out if you want to see some really great and funny Paul Bettany being crazy. Anyway, thank you guys again, and let us know if there's anything specific you want to hear about in the future. I will be bringing some interviews your way, hopefully soon. And again, thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Spread the word, not the virus. Bye, guys.